Hello Internet, your friendly neighborhood gremlin here, and today we're talking about visual novels, because I have a problem. My entire life has been taken over by visual novels and interactive fiction, so I thought maybe the thing to do would be to tell you all about it, because I have not been making YouTube videos, because I've been hyperfixated. I've been sitting on the script for a little bit too, because I'm just feeling a little bit self-conscious about it. I'm not really very good at reviews, or I don't think I'm very good at reviews, but my best and worst of 2023 video did really well, so maybe people like reviews and don't hate when I do them. Mini disclaimer, I'm gonna tell you that I love all of these boys, but it's not because I think all of them are good people or they're the kind of person I would want to date in real life. When I say that I love them, I mean they give me like the warm, fuzzy heart feelings that I'm looking for in fiction. So, hopefully that's okay, and you don't judge me too hard. We're gonna do a bad thing and not count down the list, but in my defense, the first two are the only ones that are actually in an order that matters. The rest of them are just the order they entered my brain when I was writing the list. So the first visual novel on the list is Our Life, Beginnings and Always, which is a visual novel that's not really like other visual novels. I don't know, it's hard to explain. You're gonna play it and then you're gonna be like, I want something like this, and you won't find anything else like that. But they are making a new game, so take heart, I guess. I don't know. As is probably implied by the title, the game takes place over a long period of your character's life. So you get a summer every 5 years, 8, 13, 18, and 23. And each one of those steps is broken up into moments, which are like scenes, I guess, is the best way to describe it. I don't know, little like snippets, the sort of stories one might tell if you were talking about it to someone else. I don't know, moments is a pretty good description. And the moments can be completed in any order that you want them to, and also you don't have to do all of the moments if you don't want to. But throughout the game will actually mention things that have happened in previous moments, only things that you actually completed in the game, of course. So the main story revolves around the boy who moves in across the street and your relationship with him. And even though it's a visual novel and like romance is expected, it is totally optional. One of the really sort of neat features of this game is that at the beginning of every step, you set your sort of feelings towards Cove. You start with 3 options: indifferent, fond, and crush. And the love option will become available when you're old enough if you've interacted in the story in a romantic way. And then Cove sort of like reciprocates whatever you've selected, which is nice because like if you want to just have a best friend and you don't want any of the romance stuff, the game won't push that on you. And the other set of options are comfort level, which is like how your character will generally think/react to Cove. And the options for that are nervous, relaxed, or direct. And then starting in step 3, if you're in a romantic sort of situation with Cove, you don't have to be dating him, but like if you're set to crush or love, then you also get to set his initiative, which is kind of just like how forward he'll be when it comes to romantic stuff. So if you're like me and you would prefer the relationship to feel a little bit less one-sided, where you're not the only one who wants to like hug and kiss him and do that sort of stuff, then you've got a high initiative option. And so he'll do that sometimes too, which just makes it feel a little bit more rounded, but also there's the option to not do that if you would prefer not to. And expectedly, there are also 3 levels to this: low, medium, and high. And it also lets you decide things that don't sort of like affect the story a huge amount. So it lets me be vegan, which, you know, gets high points because I'm vegan. So I enjoy that quite a bit. It doesn't like hugely affect the story in any way, but it's nice to just like sometimes acknowledge that that's a thing. And you also set your height and body shape, but more importantly, how your character feels about those things. And it also has a lot of options when it comes to like sort of sexual and romantic attraction and that sort of thing, and also with gender identity. And these things can actually change in between steps. Like they ask multiple times in the game because you're sort of growing over the course of the game and those things kind of change. And you also get to customize your little icon character in between every step, and it's super easy if you want to change pronouns or your name or most things about the character. The only things you can't change are your skin color, your eye color, and your last name. And it's not like these things have a huge effect on the story, but also they are sometimes mentioned or referenced. So I don't know, it makes it feel sort of more personal. But most importantly, the characters and the story writing of the game is really, really good. There are quite a few characters and all of them feel really sort of rounded and like real people. The sort of main core set of characters are obviously us and Cove, and then our 2 moms and sister Liz, and Cove's parents, Cliff and Kyra. As is probably expected, given the ages that the game is set in, family and family interactions and stuff is kind of a large part of the game, but that doesn't mean that there aren't like friends and friend interactions and stuff that are also fun and cozy and nice. I don't know. You can make your character be a bad person if you want to. I've never done it, so I don't have any experience or comments on how that works, but you can be a bad person if you want to, which I imagine makes those moments a little bit less warm and fuzzy. And then when you find yourself down a rabbit hole where all you want to do is play this game, there are also DLC options. Obviously that takes it out of the free category. I really love this game like so much. I actually even joined the Patreon for the creator. And they are currently working on another Our Life game, Our Life Now and Forever. And the public demo of that was actually just updated. So if you want to do that, you can. And my other favorite visual novel is objectively very different from Our Life, but also really fucking good. Good enough that I also joined the Patreon for this one. The game is called Tailor Tales, and as you might be able to tell from the title, you play a girl who runs a tailor shop. And there's even a mini game where you get to like design clothes, either for customers where you have to like do what they want, but also just like freestyle for your character to wear. You even sometimes have to design dresses that you're gonna wear in the story, which is really fun. In this game, each love interest has their own sort of like separate story. They are kind of like different universes, I guess, because the character can be different. Like she'll have a different backstory or whatever. Also, there's one where you're a superhero, which does give the game a lot of variety and sort of options for people who may be into certain things or not into certain things. This game is a romance game. There's no option to not romance the character you're going after in the route. Just, as a warning, in case that is something that would turn you off. This game is decidedly more adult than Our Life, obviously, because you're dealing with characters in their 20s in romantic relationships. There isn't anything explicit in the free version of the game, so you don't have to worry about that if that's something you don't want to engage with. Though there are some things that are like implied or fade to black scenes, that kind of thing. None of the games on this list have any sort of like explicit content that's not optional and behind paywalls and that sort of thing. I think my favorite routes are probably Neil and Gray, though I do also really love Kane. And James grows on you, or he grew on me anyway. My least favorite love interest would be Aiden, but his route is actually really funny and has some good characters, so recommend it even if that's not your kind of deal, as long as you're comfortable with that. Anyway, the rest of this list isn't really in an order of any kind, it's just sort of how they came to my brain. The third game on the list is Blooming Panic. It's the first of actually a few internet sort of chat room based games that we're going to talk about. And it's also sort of formatted the way visual novels typically are, where there's like branching routes but a main storyline that exists. This one takes place in a sort of fan server for a web novel called Blooming Panic, and you're not just like thrown into the deep end. The game actually gives you some information on Blooming Panic, the novel. You get like plot and characters, and eventually you actually read some of the novel itself. So I don't know. I enjoyed that part of the game, and by the end of the list you'll probably get sick of me saying it, but this game really excels in its sort of writing and characters. There aren't any like bad routes. I really personally love all of them. I don't really think I can pick an actual favorite because it hurts too much to be like this person and then, but what about all? I'm not good at favorites, I should tell you. But if you're looking for the sort of gut reaction favorite, the one that comes to mind first before I remember that everyone else exists, the answer in this game is Toasty, or Naked Toaster, though his route you should complete last, because it has like the end of the story bits. If you're not familiar with visual novels, it's pretty common for them to have like a suggested route order, and you sort of get bits and pieces of the sort of main big story as you go through each of the different routes. Number 4 is A Date with Death. This is the only other single love interest game on the list, but fuck if I don't love death. The game plays out in an IM program with like video chats, very similar to Blooming Panic. The basic setup is there's a reaper who is trying to reap you. The game lets you be really snarky, and it's got a lot of fun humor and that sort of thing in it, which was really a good time. I'm realizing now that there aren't a lot of things to say about visual novels that aren't plot spoilers or just it'd be really good though. So buckle up. But yeah, A Date with Death do be really good though. Game number 5 on the list is Ember Fate, Tempest of Elements. This game is set in an MMORPG, and there is no RPG skill required, which is good, because I suck at games. Like I can't play Minecraft. That's embarrassing. Don't go watch my Minecraft streams if you haven't. And now, back to your regularly scheduled program. The sort of atmosphere it's creating and environment is really successfully done in this game. I admit that I do not have a lot of MMO experience, but I do have some. And the game really hits all the fun nostalgia buttons. Plot, in a nutshell, is you're one of the leaders of a guild, and then drama. Because, that's how the internet do. But the game sort of works in a lot of different elements, like chats happening in other places, and also like private DMs, and I don't know, really fun. But if you, like me, like to read all of the things, the pause button will be your friend. Because there'll be sort of like public chats and then guild chats, and then you've got private guild chats and then DMs and all sorts of things happening all at once. But the game is really good at telling you where you need to be or what you need to read and where the decision is to advance the plot. Chris is sort of the favorite that comes to mind, but Nathan is adorable and I love him. Oh, and hey, this is actually the first game on the list that offers a female love interest. I didn't actually run her route, but she is really cute in the general part of the game, so I imagine her route is also just as good. Game number 6 is Mythic Meetup, which is a game where you're a human who ends up in a chat server for mystical creatures. Also offers up 2 female love interests. I did run their routes because suggested route order, and predictably, I enjoyed all of the routes. Are we getting bored of me saying that yet? I did really love Bibi's route because she is ace, and as a person who is also asexual, I really just enjoyed that, but all of them were great. I don't know that I could pick a favorite. The only go gut reaction, it's Watcher, though Professor X. See, I can't do it. And Off-Key's route is obviously really good. It just doesn't have the sort of romantic love thing, for me personally. Game 7 is Deliver Us from Evil, or Duffy, as it sort of is called. This is a sort of religious-based game, not in the sense that it's like pushing a religion or implying that one religion is any of that stuff, just that it happens to be using characters from Christianity, because we play a fallen angel who can fall in love with Michael. You know, that Michael. Or a fallen angel who's named Ace. I'm 0% religious, so none of this bothered me. But I know that it's a touchy subject for some people, so just like make informed decisions about the media you consume. Predictably, this game also has really good romance writing, or at least I enjoy it. Clearly that is what I'm looking for in a dating sim visual novel. I just want all the warm fuzzies, and this game delivers. But also there's like religion, so sometimes it can get a little heavy, and I cried. But Michael and Ace both get 5 stars from me. Number 8 is Summer Found Me Again, and Hand in Hand with Destiny. I know that's technically 2, which maybe breaks the list, but it's my list, and I get to make the rules here, so I'm giving it a pass. Maybe it should just be Hand in Hand with Destiny, because that game really improves a lot in like the art style and the UI bits, and I do love Lynn and Sabian. The dev is really good at writing characters. Who would have guessed? It also has this fantastic feature where if you want to, you can get color-coded hearts after you make decisions, which will guide you through the routes, so you know where you're headed. As someone who really likes to play visual novels with guides, I really enjoyed this feature, because it's like an in-game guide. But I also really want to mention Summer Found Me Again. It is an uglier game, but the love interests are just as, if not more compelling, and have sat with me more since finishing the game. This is the point in the review where I started to feel really self-conscious, like I'm gonna be judged for liking all these characters. None of them are perfect or even what I'd want in real life, but I do end up finding myself really endeared to them, which I suppose is just good writing. Either way, the gut reaction picks are Win from Hand in Hand and Devlin from Summer Found Me Again. Number 9 is Enamored Risks. Warning, this game gets really fucking dark. My favorite route, Finn, deals with depression and suicidal ideation, and it's heavy. Like it's a lot, so please tread carefully. In this game, we play a set character whose name is Alex, and it's about urban exploring, which was just a really fun backdrop to this kind of thing. This game also offers a female love interest, if that's something you're looking for, even though I hate when people recommend things by, it's so good it made me cry, because that's really not what I'm looking for in escapist fantasies. Maybe we should go with it made me cry, but I still want to recommend it because that's how good it is. Yeah, Finn fucking breaks my heart, but I also love him. Though again, my boy is not okay, so approach with caution. A Pinch of Magic is another really cute game from this developer, also free, and doesn't do all the heavy scary shit. The last game on the list is Fujiwara, Bittersweet, and this game really requires you to not judge me, because it is like a little bit problematic, but there is a remake in the works, and quite a few of these love interests are people who I wouldn't be actually romantically attracted to. Most of them probably, but they do squeeze that same part of my heart and gives me all the warm fuzzies that I like. This game we also play as a character, her name's Aya, and while this game does look really cute, it also can get pretty dark, especially Toshio and Ryo's routes. Toshio's route involves an attempted suicide, so, again, tread carefully. Iki is definitely my favorite route. I also really love Haru, but his route is a Chiaki from Danganronpa situation. If you know, you know, I guess. That's really the only other time I've come across this particular storyline, and a lot of where the problematic things come in, because it can be read a little bit as transphobic. but Haru is not trans. And also any of the transphobia is just people's interpretation of the storyline and doesn't appear anywhere in the game itself. And if you want to make an informed decision, you can go and research the discourse yourself. Because, I mean, I didn't read it that way, and I'm also not part of that community. Anyway, moving on. One of the really interesting aspects of this game is how the love interests kind of come in pairs. Not really, but also kind of. I don't know, it's hard to explain. There's Ikki and Toshio, Yuta and Haru, and Kenji and Ryo. While all the characters sort of exist peripherally in all of the storylines, and some of the characters might actually just be crushing on Aya all the time, really looking at you, Haru, each of the pairs sort of exist in opposition to each other in their routes. So it's like kind of like a love triangle, but also not really, because you can only romance the person whose route you're on. There isn't any way to like go down the friendship route with them and end up with the other guy. It's a setup I've never run into in another visual novel, and I really enjoyed the way that dynamic worked. Which brings us to the end of the list. Congratulations if you got here. If anyone got here, maybe let me know in a comment down below. I would feel good about that. And of course, we will have the links to all of these down below. I'm just gonna give you the itch.io links. Some of them are on Steam, if you'd prefer that, but I am a Mac user, and lots of them are only available on Windows on Steam for some reason. But it is time to say farewell. So if you like the video, you could hit that like button and leave me a comment down below. Let me know about visual novels you love, free ones, not free ones, don't even have to be dating sims. I'm just having a hyperfixation moment. And of course, if you think you might like to do this again sometime, you could hit that subscribe button. But I'll see y'all soon, hopefully. Goodbye!